free.
Hello everyone, welcome to It's an Indie Game. Today we are going to be playing some Dead Cells, a game that I have spent a lot of time with, and I like to think I'm familiar with it and won't get my ass kicked, but it tends to happen anyways, and I actually just got but a starting lineup that I'm not the biggest fan of. Basically, you get this kind of whip, which does really high damage if enemies are at the end of it. Like, for example, that bow guy took more damage than anyone else because he was the furthest away. See, like right there, he doesn't take that much damage. But if he were maxed out distance, then it would have fucking wrecked him. There we go. Anyways, the point of this game is that you spawn into a randomly generated sort of world, and you have to get to the end, fighting through enemies, clearing everyone out, and fighting really difficult bosses. It's kind of a Metroidvania style game, as I'm sure you could kind of tell. It's randomly generated, and then the combat actually kind of reminds me of Dark Souls a little bit, as I'm sure you can kind of tell, but here we have one of our first of your three things. You have the health, skills, and weapons, so you can pick which one to upgrade. I usually pick up health at first because health is really hard to come by in this game, and you take a lot of damage when you get hit. 1 second. See, look at that. That whip destroyed them in one hit because it was from the furthest distance. But I don't know. This is one of my least favorite weapons in the game. I know I look at the subreddit, and people kind of love the thing, and I think they think it's kind of broken. But anyways, there's also these skills that you can get. I just picked up one of them. Use them with... I'm playing with an Xbox controller. Use them with the left and right trigger. And they have really quick cooldowns. So there are points in the game where you can kind of cheese enemies. See, I could just sit here and have those do all the work. Dead Cells is the type of game that you find these things called blueprints when you're running around, and you have to bring them to the end of the level, and you unlock a whole bunch of different shit. So a lot of these weapons won't be available to you at the start, but as you keep playing through the game and picking up these things like that, it's called a cell, and you spend those cells to unlock and upgrade weapons and skills. Like, for example, you start off the game with 0 potions, but I upgraded my potion skill, so now I have 3 of them that I can use at any point, which is fucking essential if you ever want to get anywhere in this game, especially when you're fighting the harder bosses and stuff like that. This is another skill that you get. It's called a fire grenade. So each level has 3 separate sort of exits. The ossuary is the hardest exit. You can kind of pick and choose. There's the... I believe it's the ramparts is the first one. That's the easiest one. And then you can pick the sewers, which is the toxic sewers, which I already got to. And then the ossuary is the hardest one. So if you're feeling confident with the build you got and the kind of weapons and stuff you picked up in this first area, then you can go over to the ossuary or the toxic sewers. I'm not super confident with this build, so I'm gonna wait a little bit to see. Look at that! I just used those skills and fucking wreck. So I'm going to probably do one of the easier ones, which is the one I'm used to and the one I usually do. The thing with the sewers is that there's a lot of like poison enemies and enemies that I just don't really care to fight unless I have a really good build. I think that the difficulty gap between the sewers and the ramparts is much harder than it should be. Oh, yes, I got a bow. This bow I actually just unlocked in this newest update. You can fire it a bunch of times, and the more arrows you get stuck in someone, the more damage it does. So I think it's fucking dope. Firebrands. I actually don't know what that is, so I'm not gonna use it for now. Like, see, just keep firing it does hella damage. And the great thing about this game is that ammo just keeps recharging over and over again. So you never really have to worry about running out unless you're fighting the boss. And actually, this is the first area, the Promenade of the Condemned. Ramparts. Close. I'm pretty sure the Ramparts is like the 3rd section. Alright, this is a shop where you can get different items. This is one of my favorite weapons in the entire game. It's called the heavy crossbow, and you'll see why in a few minutes. Pretty much cleared this whole place out. Alright. On to the next area, where I can show you guys where you kind of turn everything in between each level, and where you pick and choose all your different upgrades. Now, the upgrades you want to do, that's kind of It's kind of how you want to play the game. Like, I want to play the game very defensively, so I put a lot of my points into healing potion. Once I upgrade healing potion again, it'll be 4 different charges, but the thing is, it's 254 cells left. Like, it's a lot of cells, whereas beforehand it was like 10 or 15. These are the different weapons that you unlock. And like, some of these I've already done all the way. Like, healing potion 1, already upgraded all the way. Some of these weapons I upgraded right away. So the ones with arrows are are weapons you've already unlocked, and the arrows mean that you will do more damage if you fill out the upgrade. Whereas ones without the arrows, like these are blueprints I've gotten but haven't unlocked the weapon yet, so it won't spawn in randomly in the game until I do this. So the broadsword does massive damage. I think that's dope, so I want to unlock it, so I'll put my 11 cells towards it. You can't go through to the next level until you spend all your cells, so you kind of have to be careful with what you're throwing them at. You want to make sure that it's something you're going to use, at least early on in the game. At this point in the game, I have a lot of things unlocked, so I don't really worry about what I throw my cells into anymore. There aren't too many other things that I care for. I like to think that the build I have is pretty good for the most part. But hopefully I can get a better weapon than this goddamn whip. And that's why I love the crossbow. Look at this shit. It just fucking wrecks everyone. The dead cells, it kind of plays towards you a little bit. Like, for example, see how I have the whip? Now I'll probably find, or I have a higher chance of finding an upgraded whip while I'm playing throughout the game, which is really nice. So the kind of weapons that you picked and that you're playing through the game kind of likes to give you, because sticking through the game with like a level 1 weapon, this is not going to work, son. It fucking sucks doing that. Hold up. As you can see, it's already doing very little damage, but I have the crossbow. See, like, there's a throwing knife too already, but I don't really like the throwing knife much. What's great, though, is that the game doesn't limit you a weapon choice at all. Like, I could have 2 bows if I wanted to, 2 shields. It could be whatever I choose. Oh, shit. This is a shield thing. I need to be using my skills more. There we go. I'm not even using the damn things. These are secret areas right here. See, that's a health item right there. That almost never happens. In the new update they've done, the elemental update, they're a bit more frequent, but even when you find them, they don't even upgrade your health that much. So it's not really something you want to rely on. That's why I did a lot of upgrading with my my health potions. Hold up. Yeah, hitting those spikes also does major damage, so that's not really something you want to happen to you. There we go. I noticed with this update, the random generation is a lot stronger. Like, it used to be every time you played through the game, the levels were a little bit different. Well, the first level was pretty different. Other than that, they weren't that different. But now, like, that elevator, for example, that elevator didn't really exist in the previous update. The only time you saw the elevator was at the end. And now they have elevators taking you to all these different parts of the game, which I think is really cool. One thing I forgot to mention is that this game is in very early access. Like, it's only 50% done, but you wouldn't have known that if I didn't tell you. Because look at this, it feels like a full game already. There's just some features that are lacking, like they need more enemy types. These are getting kind of stale once you play it for a little bit. And I don't want to say more areas, because my original complaint with the game was that there wasn't that many areas, but really, oh shit. But really, it's just that I'm bad at the game, so I'm constantly playing through the same areas over and over again. I haven't even gotten to the second boss, which I think is the end game in the version that the game is at right now. The first boss is hard enough, but I'm to the point where I kill him most of the time, assuming that my build is how I like it. But I never gotten to the second boss, because the area afterwards is a drastic upgrade in difficulty, and even like the way the level is laid out. So I kind of get fucked every time I make it past them. I haven't even been using these teleporters either. That's another thing the game kind of plays towards your benefit, is that there's those teleporters that kind of allow you to just speed through the levels and not really have to do any backtracking. Like, there's a lot of little quality of life, little improvements that the game has, which I'm a huge fan of. I want to say the skills are overpowered, but then suddenly I'll just get my ass kicked without even getting a chance to fight back, and then looks like I was wrong. One of my favorite things about this game is kind of an electric whip 3. See, I don't like the whips, but they're giving me more whips, and it's level 3, so it's much stronger than the one I currently have. One of my favorite things about this game is like the kind of little touches of personality it has in terms of like NPCs and stuff. Like they're all really mean to you, but in funny ways. Like there's this chest that oh yeah, these are timed doors 5 minutes ago. I never get these because I always take my time through the levels, but there's like this chest, it's a cursed chest, and when you open it, you get this curse on you that means you die in one hit until you kill 10 enemies. So it's like a really tough kind of balance that you have to go through, and I almost never do it unless I'm early on in the game because I'm not good enough to kill 10 guys without getting touched. I'm gonna upgrade my strength because that was at level 1, and I need these weapons to be stronger. Shit. There we go. See, this is a blueprint. Spartan sand. I thought I already had those, but I guess not. Oh, I must have died every time I picked them up. Oh my god. Look at that. Wow, I don't like this whip as much. I've never really used it. Automatically targets the closest enemy. I wonder, I don't know if this goes by the same, the further they are, the more damage they take. I don't know, it seems like a pretty weak weapon to me. But I've never really upgraded it anyways, so I'm about, like, I want to say I have about 20 hours into this game. So as you can see, I'm a little better than someone new might be. Like, when I first started this game, I was dying every few seconds. See, there was a health pickup. That was, like, one of the only health pickups I've gotten so far. But I was dying, like, I wouldn't even make it past the first spot when I started playing this game. But, and then when I got to the first boss, man, kicked my ass. My sorry little ass. So the thing with the health potions is that they kind of... Oh, that's awesome. That's the old sewers. The health potions, they, you have to wait like a second while using them. They're not just instant. So you can easily get destroyed while waiting to use them. Wow, this whip works really well against those flying enemies, at least. Alright, see, like, here's an elevator, which I think takes me to the 3rd stage. Yeah, there's the ramparts that I was talking about earlier. I'm probably gonna do the rampart over the sewers, because fuck the sewers. Now, the ramparts is one of the... See, like, that was a blueprint I unlocked, so now put 5 cells towards it. Now the item is unlocked, and another great thing about this game, look, it drops the item for you once you unlock it for the first time, so you can test it out right away. Let's try out the broadsword, because I'm sick of this fucking whip. See how that goes. What was I gonna say? Oh, this is the stage I usually die at. This represents kind of a change in the way the stages work. In this one, there's a lot of big pits that you can fall in that do massive damage to you that you're not really used to unless you've played the ramparts quite a few times. Because they look like just other spots that you can explore. Nope, they're just pits. This is also another one of the stages that doesn't really change often in terms of random generation and stuff. Well, this sword is awesome. So like down there, you'd think, hey, that's like another spot you can explore based on the rest of the game you played. But nope. You won't die, which is great. Well, unless you have low health, but... Oh, wow. I'm not sure how I feel about this sword, actually. It has too slow of a wind-up for me. Then again, my weapons are only at level 2. See, there are times, see how all my skills are at level 2, except for health? There are times when sometimes I'll have, like, everything at level 4 by the time I get to this point. But that's usually when I take, like, the ossuary route or something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I like the damage output of this damn thing, but I like to be quick moving. One of my favorite weapons, well, not even one of them, my favorite weapon in this game is the twin daggers. They're this weapon that you attack really fast, and if you land the 3rd attack, it does like massive damage. The thing is, like, the more weapons you unlock, or the more weapons are thrown in like the random pool, you know what I mean? So beforehand, when I just had the twin daggers unlocked, I would get those like all the time. Now that I have more weapons unlocked in the pool, I have less chance of getting them, which kind of sucks. But I did get the horizontal turret, which is my favorite skill in the game. Look at this shit. Just throw that, and just fucking wrecks everyone. It's like, it's kind of ridiculous. See, and I could just throw it down there. Be like, fuck y'all. So I'm on fire, jump down, just finish them off. So like, a good Dead Cells player will balance all these 3 things out and kind of just use them without even thinking about it. Another health upgrade. So like, I'll jump into a battle and I'll just throw the horizontal turret, I'll throw the fire grenade, shoot my bow, and everyone will likely be dead by then. There you go, broadsword 4. That's what I like. See, like I said before, the game kind of caters to what you're doing. Like, before I unlocked whips in the chest, now I'm unlocking a newer version of the sword I've been using, which is fucking awesome. I like to ground pound everywhere. If you couldn't tell. It's kind of fun. And it's really easy to do. It does a decent amount of damage. Oh, shit. That was a weird kind of glitch. Another door that was sealed fucking 7 minutes ago. See, there's like the Dark Souls-esque dodge roll, which is your biggest lifesaver. You can dodge, you are literally invincible during that roll. There's nothing that can hit you. But see how I'm kind of just like blending all of the things together? It's really nice because you don't run out of anything. You know, everything's just on a cooldown. So you can kind of, don't run out, you don't have to really worry about any management except for your health, you know? Just making sure you're dodging and alive. And it's really, really nice. Because I can't imagine having to worry about like ammo, and then if the skills had like a minute-long cooldown, it just wouldn't work very well, you know? It wouldn't feel as smooth as it does. Like, I know subliminally I can just jump into a battle and use my skills, like 99% of the time. It's like every battle is kind of a fresh start. I'm actually having a pretty decent run. It's definitely not my best, but I'm kind of okay with it. I'm not used to this kind of weapons that I'm using. Oh shit. I haven't even had to use one health potion the entire playthrough, which is dope. They also recharge in between levels anyways, so you don't have to be too strict about using them. I'm gonna use one right now. See, it has like that second long usage time. Like these enemies are all kind of enemies that I faced before as well. There was a new enemy type they added that I was playing against yesterday, but I haven't seen him in this playthrough, which is really weird. Ah, shit. I think like kind of like the shield guy, but he has spikes behind him too, so you have to be really careful when fighting him. Amulet, damage taken reduced by 15%. That's awesome. Yeah, amulets are the only like kind of equipment you can pick up. Like there's no other armor types or anything, but you can only hold one at a time, but they're really helpful. Like that one reduces damage by 15%. Like that's dope. That's really key. Also, the Black Bridge is the boss. This is always, like the other levels you can pick between your difficulties, kind of. This one, you only exit as the Black Bridge, because you have to fight the boss. There's no going around him. One of my favorite things to do is that when you're using like a bow or something, you can just crouch during it too. So you don't have to like crouch before using it. It's a lot of those little touches in this game that just make your life easier. I keep remembering all these little different ones. It's just, the game is entirely catered to the player. I'd say even more so than like Dark Souls or something like that. Shit. See, like, wow. See, like there I can just crouch, heal up, keep dodging. You can even stay low and just keep using the bow. It makes you invincible against the marksman. It's kind of ridiculous. Honestly, for the sake of the Let's Play, I'm probably going to just go and fight the boss without clearing out every spot here. I think, for the most part, I cleared out the, everything important here. Like, since I don't care about cells that much anymore, I don't need to be anal about clearing everything out. There'll probably be, like, an upgrade or two I'll miss, but oh well. I'm gonna try out the boss with this loadout. I don't like fighting the boss unless I have twin daggers, but what are you gonna do? Okay, let's see if I can't upgrade this. See, like, the broadsword I have now, I can upgrade it. So every time I get it now, it does 5% extra damage. So that'll be nice for the boss. Let's see what the heavy crossbow is at 100, because I've upgraded it twice already. I'll just throw more towards it. Why the fuck not? All right, let's get it. There he is. So this boss, I found it pretty easy to just keep dodging, hit once, dodge, and then he always gets his shield up, and then he does this move. See, that red thing is new. That red aura just hits you whenever you go anywhere near him. I am not used to and I'm not a big fan of. But then, once you get into like a quarter health, like where he is now, he starts this other attack where he throws spikes really, really far. Yep, like that. So you always have to like jump and dodge him. What's nice though is that the boss isn't invulnerable to any status effects or anything. So like those twin daggers, they come in handy like huge here because I just hit him 3 times. It does a massive chunk of damage and then I can dodge. Fuck. See, that was really dumb of me. Oh my god. What was I gonna say? Oh, so another thing that I love though, my favorite build is having the twin daggers and then having like an ice grenade. So what I do is I freeze him with the ice grenade because all status effects affect him, and then I'll use the twin daggers, and by the time he gets out of the freezing, the third attack will hit him, and then I do massive damage, and I just dodge around him. And that's it, and I just keep doing that until he's dead. Shit. Oh, you also notice that orange bar? What's really great is that when you take a lot of damage, you can just if you hit enemies, you'll reduce the amount of damage that actually gets taken out of your health. Oh, shit. But it has to be like melee attacks. Range attacks don't work, at least unless they change that in the update. But when last I played, you have to do melee. Shit. You know, I have another health potion. Fuck. Okay. Go, go, go. Last time I died, like, when he had this low health and I used the health potion. But there we go. Awesome. Killed him first try. And then there's the next area that I always fucking die in. 9 minutes ago. I don't know what kind of shit they're expecting me to do here. I'm not playing through the game that quickly. That's like speedrunner shit. But I think I'm actually gonna end the Let's Play there because the point of this new series is kind of supposed to be a quick look at a game, not a full playthrough, and I think that I just covered the basics pretty well for the most part. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, go check out the summary video that I have of the game. I'm also going to link that in the description down below. I'll see you guys soon. Play portion of this game's coverage. Be sure to check out the overview episode of the game if you haven't already, or maybe check out some other videos. And don't forget that all written coverage of these games will be up on the coalition.com. Don't forget to subscribe for the thoughts and opinions on all of the latest indie games. I'll see you guys soon.